It's obvious people love to treat cops as heroes, as if they are your friends, almost like your loyal protectors. Here is why it's stupid and dangerous to think of them that way. Cops can easily be your friend and the best thing that happened to you today, and your mortal enemy tomorrow. We have to look at examples from history to see how police can be your friend today and your worst nightmare tomorrow, without you yourself changing or doing anything different or changing your activities in any way. There were many things in the past that were legal, but are no longer legal, or they were legal, became illegal, then were made legal again. Marijuana used to be legal. Let's say you were growing a bunch of marijuana, and a thief stole all your marijuana. You would call the police, and they would be obligated to track down the thief and get your marijuana back. And at that point, a cop will seem like a hero to you. Okay, that's fair. Now, what happens when tyrants in the government make marijuana illegal? Okay, so now a thief steals your marijuana. And sure, maybe the cops will track him down, but guess what? The cops will arrest you too for having that marijuana. So, is the cop still a hero? Is he still your fucking friend? Think back to Prohibition. Let's say you were running a business, selling alcohol, and you were robbed. The cop would be a hero that saves the day. What happens once Prohibition is passed by tyrant politicians? The cop becomes your mortal enemy. You can't go to him to protect your alcohol business anymore. Why? Because a cop is loyal to the piece of paper on which the laws created by the politicians are outlined. He is not loyal to the citizens. Prostitution used to be legal. Then it wasn't legal. Anyone could buy and conceal carry a gun without cutting through any red tape or asking anyone's permission. Then came a time where they can't anymore. Before, when you could do those things, the cop would protect you. Then politics changed, and now that cop is your mortal enemy when it comes to these things. That's why I'm trying to tell you people, don't worship these fucking pigs. Don't empower them. Don't pity them when an angry black person guns them down. Don't make it easy for them to track you down or detect your activities. Problem is, it's not you, but a lot of your fellow citizens that are the ones doing shit where it's easy for the cops to track you down. Because today, they might be your friend and savior. Tomorrow, they might be destroying your life. And the funny thing is, it will not be because you changed or did something different. It's just simply society or some tyrannical elements in the government that will have duped society into suddenly treating you as the villain. What matters to the cops are their jobs and the laws they enforce. They don't give a fuck about you personally. This is why they should not be respected. This is why they are not your fucking friends. What they are is more akin to a force of nature. They are like a fire or the ocean. A fire can give you warmth and cook your food, and you would say, "Why, yes, a fire is my friend. Look at the good things it's doing for me, keeping me warm and cooking my food." Well, why don't you try to hug that fire for being your good friend? See what will happen. Why don't you try to make that fire bigger? Dump some gasoline into your fireplace and have it spill out all over the floor of your house. After all, the fire deserves your appreciation for being useful. Why wouldn't you feed it until it is as big as can be? Then you will watch your house burn down, and what will you say? Well, it's not so bad. The fire was good to me. It kept me warm and allowed me to cook my meals. So if it burned my house down, or it needed to burn my house down, well, I guess it's just a small sacrifice. Well, if you hang up security cameras everywhere and make it so police can effortlessly track and detect you and everything you do, well, you just threw gasoline all over yourself and hugged the fire. I can understand appreciating personal security guards and bodyguards this way. Security guards that you specifically pay to be loyal just to you. But to appreciate someone who is only loyal to you because politicians haven't yet decided that you deserve to be treated as a villain instead, I think that's a very dangerous and foolhardy thing to do. You are allowed to fight off a criminal. You are allowed to shoot the criminal. And the criminal doesn't have the power, the arsenal, or the training the cops have. Your chances against a criminal are much higher than your chances against a cop. You see, if a criminal tries to steal from you, you can shoot the criminal. You can beat him up. You can even take your stuff back. If the government tries to steal from you and call that theft a tax and make it legal on paper, I want to see how successful you will be at refusing the government, at shooting back at police, or keeping the police from coming into your property and taking what they want to take. It's a tough choice, but you're actually better off facing off with the criminal than facing off with police. So criminals are actually not so bad compared to police. And the thing about forensic science and cameras, and why that is like throwing gasoline on the fire, is because if the government doesn't like what you're doing, and all those people that own those cameras that watch you take the side of the government because they are either fooled or just stupid, how are you going to survive? How are you going to hide? How are you going to fight back? That's why I am telling people that, okay, you want a life where everyone is watched by cameras. You want a life where forensic science reveals all truth. What are you going to do when some activity for which you are not a criminal now, you are made into a criminal for conducting that same activity in the future? How are you going to survive when that happens? How are you going to stay out of jail? How are you going to hide so you can hold on to your freedom despite what some politician wants, or what the bullying majority wants, or what the cops want? This is the same dilemma I had faced in public schools. If a bully harassed me or punched me, I could go and turn the bully in and have the school system punish the bully. However, I was not the perfect student that the system would approve of myself. I used to bring funny stories to school that had all kinds of nasty sexual things in them, and cuss words, which was against a few of the school's rules. And if I was 18 and still in high school, and I showed those pornographic stories to my peer who is 17, then it could be treated as a crime, like I'm an adult providing lewd material to a minor, which is complete bullshit. So what happens if I piss off the bully and turn the bully in, and the bully turns around in revenge and says, "Oh, is this how you want to play?" And then the bully reveals all my indiscretions in revenge to the school. And now I'm in trouble too. In trouble for victimless crimes. This is why I preferred to tangle with a bully and take the attacks from a bully than to involve these so-called protectors, these authority figures, to come to my aid. In the end, what good were the rules to me? What good were these authority figures to me? In the end, what good are authority figures to you that are worse than the criminal that's attacking you? You can't allow yourself to be bullied by the majority. Democracy is just a majority ganging up on a minority or a single person and giving themselves the right to bully you. It takes 50% plus one person to decide that you deserve to die for whatever reason. And that's fucking democracy for you in a nutshell. You can be attracted to a 16-year-old girl in, let's say, the year 1920, when it wasn't illegal yet. Then, later, you can have the bullying majority bump the age of consent to 18. And then they can go around and call you a pedophile and suddenly alter you from a normal, accepted person into some kind of vile villain that must be crushed. And those of you who think that somehow your activities are just so innocent and so uncontroversial that there's no way they can be objected to and turned into crimes in the future, well, you will be pleasantly surprised, unpleasantly surprised, one day as well. You may think sitting and playing Call of Duty is the most innocent thing you can do. Well, there are people that have wanted to ban violent video games for as long as violent video games existed. And in a democracy, if those who think that way become the majority, you will become a fucking criminal for playing Call of Duty. And then what? You will allow a majority of bullies to form a violent mob and destroy your life because democracy, without you shooting back at them? You would have been having underage sex with that girl, and if a criminal attacked you while you were having sex, you could have had the cop protect you, because if he found out, nothing would happen to you, and the cop would seem like a hero. Then the bullying majority decided it was wrong for you to have that sex. And now that cop becomes your mortal enemy, and you haven't even done anything different. It's just because society decided to change its mind about you, because of propaganda tricks, or whatever moral gymnastics they decide on, or maybe because they're plain stupid, and the number of stupid people outnumbers the number of smart people. So how can you love cops after hearing this? How can you trust them? How can you embrace cops over a criminal? If the government bans you from owning a gun, and you need a gun, you are going to wish there was a criminal who can give you a gun, because most certainly the idiots in your democratic society will not give you one, and neither will the fucking hero cop. Even if the fucking cop doesn't agree with the law, he has to enforce it. He'll still have to say, sorry, I've got to arrest you because I'm a cop. It goes back to the scorpion analogy. You may get a pet scorpion, and you feed it, and you take care of it, and give it a comfortable place to live. But one day, as you let the scorpion crawl on your hand, it will stick its tail stinger into you, and you will say, but I loved you, I fed you, I gave you a place to live, how could you sting me? And the scorpion will say, well, you may have done all that, but I am still a scorpion, and that is what I do. As you stand there and say, but officer, I paid taxes and helped pay your salary. I invited you over for dinner with the family in gratitude for catching that burglar who stole my TV. I donated to the charity for fallen police officers. And the officer will shrug and go, I understand, but I am still a police officer, and whether the law is right or wrong, arresting you is what I do, because I am a police officer. You can't just let the majority do this to you, where, in an instance like when prohibition is passed, and all of a sudden you are a criminal, and you got all these do-gooders pinning all kinds of fucked up labels on you, and hunting you and treating you like shit, because the law changed. And they're going now, oh, okay, great, the law changed, and now I can be an asshole, and it's all legit. I don't have to feel bad.